Blair, Megan's sister, is getting married. Megan is Blair's maid of honor. She quickly dashes out to Denver to meet a client before Blair's bachelorette party. She assures Blair over the phone that she won't be missing it for anything. She's catching the afternoon flight to Wichita. Megan's client, O'Reilly, is busy with an earlier appointment, so Megan has to wait for a while. Blair and her perfectionist mom, Edie, are putting the finishing touches to the decor. Edie likes things to go her way, and her girls would always give her the room for that. Megan's getting tired of waiting in the lobby. The man at the front desk makes things worse by telling Megan of O'Reilly's bad habit, talking way too much when she's in the mood. She wonders when she'd have an audience with O'Reilly, also considering she has to go to Wichita. Edie has chosen the combo for Blair's girls. The grape-colored dress with a flower pinned to the side of their chest feels perfect for Edie. O'Reilly sees Arden out of her office. Megan is shocked to see Arden, with whom she grew up. The two of them aren't very pleased to see themselves like old friends and acquaintances would be. They behave like rivals till Arden leaves. Megan pitches to O'Reilly. Her company, Fun for All, makes toys that are mechanically designed, as opposed to the rampant electronically controlled ones. She has a great claim, but O'Reilly isn't too sure her idea would stand out. She likes it for herself and her kids, but isn't sure about the business aspect of it. With time running out, O'Reilly opts to take her on a little history of her company. After a boring session, she's finally let off, and the airport is her next destination. While she waits for a cab, she's on a call with Blair. Meeting Arden has triggered so many improper memories, and it almost puts her off. Finding out that the Denver airport is closed sends her into a mild panic mode. The search for another nearby airport begins in earnest. Colorado Springs Airport is close by, but she needs a car to get there. Renting a car almost fails too, but a staff at the rental service saves the day. Arden is in the same shoes. Seeing that Megan has found a way is a blessing to him. A big step for him not to miss his dad's retirement party. He bribes Megan and appeals to her emotions so he can join her at the nearest airport. Paying for the gas and other proposed incentives makes Megan agree without thinking twice. The ride to Wichita is intense. Megan has a lot of things against Arden. Arden suggests they squash every beef now that they're adults. Sadly, none of them bought plane tickets. They can only get to Wichita by road and would also stand to miss most parts of their respective parties. Megan would do anything for her sister. Arden would do anything for his dad too. The road trip begins. Arden wants to get busy during the ride. Megan knocks off every suggestion he makes to make the trip a lively one. She doesn't want the radio on, nor does she want Arden's games of questions and answers. Megan wants a calm and quiet drive. She needs that to be focused. The debate from high school still troubles Megan. She thinks Arden cheated, but Arden argues that he only followed the rules. Even on their brief stop to get little supplies, they don't get over the high school competitions. Arden also has a grudge against Megan. Arden thinks Megan's school cheated during the high school film competition. He praises himself as a worthy competitor and mentions that he was the best thing to have happened to Megan in high school. Their trip is cut short when they step out and can't find their rented car. Another reason to panic for Megan. The police arrive and begin a search. Megan is really worried about the car. Arden has a different worry. One of his phones is in the car. Arden had planned ahead, purchasing a worn-out car for their trip, ensuring they could continue despite the police search for the missing rental. As Arden drives, they both let their guards down when he recalls a high school memory, specifically the dress Megan wore to prom. Megan's immediate concern is being an unworthy maid of honor, having already lost her suitcase with the scarf she borrowed for Blair's wedding, and now missing the bridal shower. Arden discovers Megan's sister is marrying Jack, their high school sports champion. He thinks Jack is a nice guy, and wonders how he ended up teaching. In Mackenzie, Megan's GPS alerts her to a roadblock, and she insists they take the next turn. Arden prefers staying on course, but Megan's persistence pays off. The turn seems wrong, leading them nowhere. Tensions rise as they navigate the desolate road. Arden fails to see a tree branch, swerving sharply to avoid it. Off the road, they recover from the close call. Arden's hand on Megan's shoulder sparks a realization of lingering feelings. Finding their way out of nowhere is pressing. Blair's party is ongoing, and Megan can't even read her toast over the phone. With Arden's phone dead, she sends it to Blair. Blair's best friend, Della, reads Megan's toast aloud after Blair's insistence. Initially nervous, Della finishes well. Late at night, mechanic Charlie can't ready the car on time. With motels fully booked, he offers his house for the night. Surprisingly, Charlie provides a cozy, waterproof tent, explaining his main house is occupied with precious family heirlooms and personal belongings. They spend the next hour erecting the tent, laughing, and exchanging stories. It's morning. and Charlie and his wife are dressed in vibrant vintage Scottish attire, complete with tartan patterns and traditional accessories. The town of Mackenzie is hosting a festive celebration in honor of an old tradition that dates back generations. No electronics, no work. Everyone behaves as if they're living in the charming days of old. Arden can't charge his phone, and this also means no Wichita lessons until the next day, disrupting his plans. Frustrated about being stuck in Mackenzie, Arden feels like nature is working against him, testing his patience. Megan sees it differently, thinking nature is urging them to slow down, reflect, and experience life the old-fashioned way, appreciating simplicity. The two also find ways to connect their toy companies, bridging their professional worlds and discovering new business opportunities. They decide to spend the day exploring together, something harmless but entirely unexpected for both of them years ago. Dressing in traditional clothing like the locals, they meet Charlie, the town's mayor, and get acquainted with Franklin. Arden immediately dislikes Franklin for his charm and confidence, especially as Franklin repeatedly tries to connect with Megan. Arden, irritated, suggests that Franklin wouldn't believe they aren't a couple. Megan quickly dismisses the idea, insisting they don't even fit as one. Fully immersed in the festival, Arden and Megan not only dress the part, but also adopt the speech patterns of the era. Their banter deepens as they explore each other's family backgrounds. Arden learns that Megan doesn't have a boyfriend, which he sees as good news, but her mention of wanting to meet Will, whom she seems to fancy, bothers him. Will, Jack's best man, is present for the wedding rehearsals. Della, filling in for Megan, has taken a liking to Will, adding to the underlying tension. The festival games begin, and Arden fails at nearly everyone he participates in. Meanwhile, Franklin and Megan shine, celebrating their victories with high fives that only aggravate Arden further. As the party winds down, Franklin and his minstrels perform a waltz. Seeing an opportunity to redeem himself, Arden, who is supposedly skilled at waltzing, seizes the chance. Teaching Megan how to waltz impresses her and helps ease the tension between them. On the walk back to Charlie's house, Megan admits how much fun she had, but they soon realize they've lost their way. Megan, taking responsibility for the mistake, laughs it off. Finding a comfortable spot under the moonlight, they settle in for the night. The atmosphere feels right for confessions. Arden admits his jealousy over Megan bonding with Franklin. Megan surprises him by revealing that her bonding with Franklin was meant to provoke him, though she doesn't fully understand why she did it. In this moment of honesty, Arden also confesses that he has admired Megan since their high school rivalry, a truth that surprises them both. Megan wonders why Arden never asked her out back in school. She's certain she would have dated him. Their rivalry back then stemmed from both being so good at what they did. But things are different now. They're adults, and maybe past admiration is better left in the past. It's morning and Blair's wedding day. Arden surprises Megan by gifting her a scarf identical to the one she wore to prom in high school. The gesture touches her deeply. Megan had wanted Blair to wear the scarf for her wedding, and Arden had made it possible. They share a hug, possibly the first of many. As it turns out, Megan hadn't led them astray the night before. Charlie's house is just a stone's throw from where they'd slept. Charlie's wife greets them warmly and serves them breakfast. Soon after, Charlie arrives with bad news. The car won't be ready until the next day. Megan, almost frantic at the thought of missing Blair's wedding, demands any vehicle that can get them to Wichita. Charlie obliges, handing over his towing truck. The journey begins, but before they've gone far, they're pulled over by the police. It's Franklin. Being a minstrel was just for fun. His real job is an officer. Initially, he scares them but then drops the act, revealing he only wants to give Megan a parting gift. When they try to drive off, the truck refuses to start, nearly giving them a heart attack. After several nerve-wracking attempts, the engine roars to life, and they're back on track. Meanwhile, Blair is dressed and ready for her big day. She longs for Megan to be by her side, but just in case Megan doesn't arrive in time, she insists Della fill in as her maid of honor. Della protests but reluctantly agrees under Blair's insistence. When Megan and Arden arrive in Wichita, they make plans to meet again once they're back in Seattle. At Blair's house, Della is the only one home, as everyone else is already at the church for the wedding. Megan asks Della to let everyone know she's arrived and will make it in time. Della mentions a specific church as the venue. Megan heads to the church, but when she arrives, it's empty. Moments later, Della appears, tearful and apologetic. She admits to giving Megan the wrong address. The excitement of possibly being the maid of honor had gone to her head, and she'd tried to secure her place by keeping Megan away. Megan forgives her on the spot, and together they rush to the correct church. Once there, Megan gracefully relinquishes her role as maid of honor, a gesture that deeply moves Della. Before the ceremony, Megan drapes the scarf over Blair's shoulders, and they prepare to walk Blair down the aisle. Later, at the wedding reception, Megan delivers the toast, recounting all the hurdles she overcame to be part of the biggest day of her sister's life. Blair privately thanks Megan for stepping aside to let Della have her moment. Megan shares how amazing she thinks Arden is, just as Arden unexpectedly walks into the room. The surprises don't stop there. Arden hands Megan the trophy she'd once accused him of stealing back in high school. He also asks for her address and contact information, to which Megan readily agrees. The two immediately decide to merge their toy companies and work together. Finally, Arden officially asks Megan out. She says yes, sealing her answer with a kiss, followed by a dance that brings the day to a perfect close.